Welcome to the Recruitment People podcast, the place where employers and candidates unite to uncover the art of successful recruitment. Hi, I'm Kelly Charity, a recruiter and agency owner with over 2 decades of recruitment experience. In this podcast series, I'm going to dive deep into the heart of hiring and job seeking, sharing actionable insights, expert advice, and of course, a little bit of fun along the way. Whether you're looking to sharpen your hiring practices or navigate your career path, we've got you covered. So let's get started and unlock the secrets to recruitment success together.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Recruitment People podcast. Today, we're unraveling a less commonly known aspect of recruitment, the option to unbundle full recruitment services into specific targeted tasks. Now, this approach allows employers to utilise certain parts of the recruitment process that they specifically need help with rather than opting and paying for a full service. Here to talk us through how this works and the benefits it can offer is our recruitment expert and owner of the Recruitment People, Kelly Charity. Kelly, welcome.
Hello.
Fantastic. Now, this is something, is this relatively new, being able to pick apart the recruitment service and just use a specific part?
It's new to us to a degree. We've started doing it over the last sort of 18 months or so. But I think some recruiters do offer an unbundled service. I have heard of it before. I think the standard package is always the full recruitment process.
Sure, which is something I think most people sort of understand and know, and that you look after everything. So talk me through unbundled services. What are they and how do they work?
Okay, so we recognised in the market that some companies just don't have the budget to spend on a full recruitment process. So what that allowed us to do was sort of break down the full recruitment process into certain elements.
Sure.
Where they could then pick out certain things. So what we can offer is kind of whatever they want. Is a tailored approach to the recruitment. So they might say, I've run an advert, I'm completely overwhelmed with the response, I don't have time to go through the response. So they would then allow us access to go through the entire response of applicants. We may just shortlist the resumes, that's it.
Right.
That's it. Just do that job for them. Or they might say, can you do a telephone interview with the candidate? So we would then shortlist and do telephone interviews and then shortlist further and give them the shortlist of people that meet the brief. Or they may say, actually, I want you to just do the reference checks.
Right.
Or I just want you to come and sit alongside me in the interview because I've got 5 candidates I'm going to interview, but I'm not really sure what's the best way to interview. So if I get your expertise sat alongside me, we can make the decision together. So they're only paying for that element. Yeah.
And they can pick and choose what they really specifically need help with.
Yes.
Okay. And look, I think we've talked about this briefly in another episode, but I think what I love about this service and the fact that employers can do this, apart from the cost saving, is that you can teach them that element.
Absolutely. Part of our consultancy service is that we then, for example, when you sit alongside a client in an interview, you're going to talk to them, or we talk to them about what should that interview look like, what sort of questions are you going to ask, and we would give them the questions. So next time they're recruiting for that job, they don't need to use this at all because now they know, what to do in an interview and what questions to ask for that particular job.
Sure. Okay. Well, look, let's look at the full service from end to end that you do offer, and let's talk through each element that an employer could hand pick out and get you to help with. So I guess it starts with maybe even writing the job description and the brief.
Absolutely. It starts at the beginning. So talking to them, maybe doing an audit of where are they at in their recruitment process, where are they failing, or where do they need assistance with? Are they time poor, or is it about the budget? It's about having that tailored approach dependent on the business and what they're looking for.
Yep.
So then we break it down and say, okay, well, you're getting the candidates right in terms of the candidates you're interviewing, but you're not interviewing well because then when you hire, they're not the right candidates. Yep. So it's about going through that process and understanding. So we would write the job description for them if they needed that. That might be all they need.
Yep.
We would then write interview questions for them based on that job description. We could present them with the interview questions. They go and do it themselves, or we can help with that too. Because we're the experts. Why not learn from the experts? And
there's the telephone screening in there as well.
Telephone screening is in there. We can advertise on the client's behalf and do the shortlisting of resumes and the telephone interviews, and then just give them the shortlist. They don't have to run the advert themselves, or they can. I mean, one example of a time that we've done this is with a client that didn't want to use the full recruitment service, but they'd started to run an advert themselves. They didn't have the time to see it through. They then flicked it to us to go through it and said, look, just give me a short list of people you've spoken with that meet the brief. I'll then go to interview with them. And that's what they did. And then they went to offer, and we just did that snippet of work on their behalf, which was cost effective for them, but also time efficient, because they were outsourcing the part that they just didn't really want to do or didn't have the time to do. Yeah, absolutely. So,
look, this is a fantastic service to be able to offer. Are you finding that when you're having clients come to you that you've marketed to a client to work with, and people generally think of the full service, and then they're saying, and seeing that this is available, or do clients know that this is available and come to you specifically for that? Like you get the phone call and they say, we just want you to reference check.
No, existing clients would use us for the unbundled, but lots of clients or companies out there don't realise that it's a service that we offer. So, existing clients have come to me, a client who's used me for a long time. He was opening up 2 different business units in addition to his current business. And so he had gone to the market and he'd talked to people he knew, and he had candidates. He knew of business owners that he could kind of go into partnership with. And so he really needed me to just sit alongside him to find out who was going to be the best fit. So he just called me and he said, I know you do Unbundled. Can you come and sit with me in the interviews? And then we can have a debrief after the sessions to establish which of the candidates is the best candidate. So I kind of wrote out the questions that I knew would be suitable. He had certain questions he wanted to ask, but we kind of tweaked those as well to make sure that, the questions were really suitable for the role, and trying to draw out the candidates what we wanted to know to fit the business. And it worked very, very well. And he hired 2 people, but he only used me to sit alongside him as the expertise in the interview.
I absolutely love this because, like you said, I think, a lot of businesses potentially are scared away by the cost of a full service, and probably believe they've got, the skills and abilities to do a lot of the recruitment process, but really getting some expert help on just 1 or 2 pieces, especially the interview.
Crucial element.
Yeah. I think this just sort of blows me away, and in thinking there's just probably such a big untapped market of employers who would consider using an unbundled service and picking what they want over a full service with a full fee.
Absolutely. I speak to many small businesses about their struggle with recruitment, and small businesses, it is a cost-effective model for them. But also that a lot of businesses and in general as humans, we go by gut instinct. So the interview becomes a conversation, and it's not structured in a lot of cases with small business owners, for example. They just go gut instinct. I've had a really good chat with them. I feel like they'd be really good for the business. But that's where the downfall starts, because if it's not a structured interview, your conversation with one person is different to another person. So you can't make that comparison as to who's going to be the best fit. Gut instinct does always play a part, but you can't only go on gut instinct in an open conversation. I remember working for a recruitment company as the branch manager and going into the environment where the consultants were working and sort of coaching them on interview techniques. And the opening questions were, in the interview, was to tell the candidate all about the job. So, for example, the job is X, Y, and Z. You need to be available 24/7, and you need to be able to work, evenings, days on call, pretty much, because it was a casual role. Does that suit you? The candidate goes, yeah. I'm like, pretty much you got the job then, yeah? And I'm like, you have to turn every part of the job into a question, not describe the job.
So
and
that
then
they
say,
can just
does that fit you? I'm
do you
available
agree with that?
24/7, you
Yep.
know, so it's about asking a question, not, you know, if the candidate says, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. Oh, okay, well, you've got the job then. No. They just want the job. So you need to dig a little deeper than saying, this is the job. Do you want it? Can you do it? Yeah, I can do it. Great. Come on, you've got the job.
Yep.
You know, I get on with you well.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, wow. Tell me, what so far that you've been offering these unbundled service, what has been the I was going to use the word popular, but not popular, but what has been the most utilised through the recruitment people? What are you finding employers, which part of the process are they mostly wanting to pick out and use as an unbundled service?
There isn't a top one,
There
to
isn't?
be honest.
No,
It just depends.
It depends on the business, where they're at.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, we've done a lot of the sitting alongside and doing the interview with the company, but also we've done the shortlisting. So we've done the advertising, we've gone through the resumes, shortlisted the resumes, then we've made that telephone call, because that's the crucial point, is picking out the resumes of the people to call. And then the employee doesn't have time to call everyone and screen, all of those people out. Well, we screen people that perhaps on paper you're like, maybe, but that doesn't mean they're not good for the job because the resume isn't strong. It just means they're not good at writing a resume. So, picking out those skills and then shortlisting further and giving the client, the people tick the boxes on paper. They also tick the boxes when we speak to them in terms of the basics of the role, salary, hours, they've got the skills. And then you have the final interview with them as the employer.
Sure.
And so it just depends on the company, to be honest with you.
Sure. It's brought up a question that probably doesn't quite fit into an unbundled service, but do you offer, and maybe we do another episode on this, but do you offer a headhunting service?
I was just thinking about this.
Is that even a term anymore?
Yes.
Is that the right term? Yep.
Yes.
So
it is. A client came to me with regards to the unbundled services and said, we have a list of people we want you to go after as a headhunting service.
Yep.
I mean, we headhunt all jobs, we advertise.
You go looking for
go looking for people. So we do that anyway. But this particular client said, here's a list of names. I don't want to approach these people. I want you to approach them confidentially.
Yep.
And so that was a service that we did. There's no guarantee that we're going to bring these people to you and you're going to be able to offer them the job. So we had a set process. We agreed at what point will that confidentiality be released as to who it is we're recruiting for. So we had that whole conversation with the client, and then we went to the candidates and started to do that process. It was
really interesting. I would like to do a full episode and breaking that down on how you do it, because there would be a real art to it and when you release the information, how that really piques my interest. I think we will definitely have a look at that in a bit more detail.
Good piece of work.
Yep.
It was a good piece of work.
Doesn't happen too regularly then. You haven't had too many requests to do that.
No, not too many. I mean, we headhunt all of the time, but this was a specific list of people that they wanted us to go after, that they knew of in their own industry, that were strong, that they would like to have them work for their company.
Sure.
So it was a good piece of work. I enjoyed that one.
So tell me, are there any challenges for you as a professional recruiter in only doing a certain part of the service? So, let's just say it is reference checking, for example. Coming in when you haven't been part of the recruitment process, and maybe reference checking isn't the best example here, but are there challenges in only doing a certain piece rather than the whole thing?
Yes, there are challenges in that because we're only responsible for that small part of that recruitment process.
Yep.
So, we can do the telephone screening, we can advertise, we can shortlist the resumes, then we do telephone interview only, and then we present those candidates to the client, who then takes over from there. Now, if the client is not particularly strong at interviewing, and goes on gut instinct, doesn't do reference checks themselves, there is a danger that it's going to fall down, that the process isn't going to work. So we have that conversation, because there's an element of still a high expectation in terms of the recruitment, even though we're only doing part of the process, that because we've been involved as a specialist recruiter, because they've got a great shortlist, that now one of those candidates is going to be onboarded and they're going to work out and everything's going to be fine. Well, sometimes that doesn't happen because people are people. They do a good interview perhaps and get on board, and they're not who you think they are. So for us, my preference is always to take the full recruitment process because we are specialists in recruitment.
And you can manage and have quality over the whole, every piece of the process.
Yeah, and you've got that replacement guarantee, whereas when you unbundle the services, you're paying us to do this piece of work. So whether you end up with a candidate that works out at the end or not, you're just paying us for our time to do that section. So that's the challenge with unbundled services, but it works for companies. If we can tailor make which section is going to really be crucial for them, where are they going to fall down in the process, then it can really be beneficial and cost effective for a client.
Fantastic.
Yeah, or for an employer.
Look, I think it's absolutely wonderful. So the message for employers out there, who are hearing this is, do the bits you're good at, but utilise Kelly and her team for the bits that you want help with, and that can be, one little piece or 3/4 of it. But put it together, and you're going to come up with probably a far better result than you could do on your own. So absolutely love the flexibility that this approach offers, and the cost savings as well. So look, whether you're looking to streamline certain recruitment tasks or you just need assistance in a few areas, Unbundled Services can provide that customised solution that could make all the difference in finding that perfect person. So, look, thanks again for joining us today, Kelly, and thank you, listeners, for tuning into the Recruitment People podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favourite platform to catch all of our future episodes as we continue to break down the complexities of recruitment and provide you with actionable advice. Would love for you to give us a review, a 5-star review. It helps us get up in the rankings and be shown to other job seekers and employers. So and please do leave a comment. Anything. We look at these. We want to know what you think. So please, and of course, obviously, your website, Kelly.
www.therecruitmentpeople.com.au.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to you joining us for the next episode.
Thank you.